This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman, and we're about to go out for our first hunt for the Georgia deer season 2023-24. And we've got our go-kart ready to go, and we have our tools that we're going to use. This is archery season in Georgia. We may take a dozen deer in Georgia, of which 2 may be bucks. There is a preliminary archery season that starts now in September. That's actually been going for 2 weeks. And this is the 3rd week now. And what we're going to be using is a Wicked Ridge Invader X4 crossbow there, which is a somewhat obsolete model. But nonetheless, we purchased it at a discount price as a reconditioned crossbow. So far as I can see, the crossbow was brand new. And we did have to replace the scope, and the first one we got was fractured in the lens, so we had to replace that one, and we sighted it in, and we have videos on all of that. Now also significant is this Greenworks electric chainsaw. And the reason I'm hauling a chainsaw around on my golf cart is that we very commonly have fallen limbs across our trails, particularly if there's been any wind. And one of which I worked on earlier this year and have videos about that one was a huge old oak. And the top fell, and it was all a tangled mess, and it took me days to work that thing out, but I finally got the trail cleared. I still have work to do on an auxiliary tree that lost a branch. I had to cut that out more recently. Well, we got that done. So now we can hopefully get back on our trails and make the trip relatively rapidly without having to do cutting along the way. But nonetheless, we got it. We also have a cushion over there prominently displayed against the wheel. You can hunt only so long as your butt can stand it, so cushions are significant. And the general plan today, there's no wind, is to hunt in a tree stand. Now that tree stand is going to be positioned fairly low up a pine tree, and it happens to be a tomcat tree stand, which is no longer available. I like it because it's lightweight. I can reverse positions on it. It has a separate seat. You can stand and shoot with it, hence all the harness gear I've got. And it's a very nice stand. But because of the thick vegetation that's still out everywhere, I can only get so high up the tree and still be able to shoot. So we're going to go out and see what we can do. This is our friendly tree that we had to cut out this year. And as you can see, the branches are big, and that viney stuff is wisteria. And if you are a homeowner, never, ever, ever plant that junk. Or privet hedge either, for that matter. Because that is what usually chokes up my trail. Well, we've arrived at our site where we're going to hunt. And these are open second growth timber, a lot of oak in here, and many of the trees are mature enough to start dropping acorns. And so we're just going to walk with our crossbow, as well as a few other odds and ends back there, and get in my stand. There's a road that the deer sometimes travel. I'm purposefully going to walk through the woods and stay off that road, because they may actually come down it. One never knows. I have my hoist rope attached to the deer stand, first to the foot piece, then around the top, and then looped serially to the cushion, to my bag, and the heaviest piece of all last, the crossbow itself. When I get up the tree, I'll have access to those sequentially and not be lifting the whole load at once, and that's the idea. Now looking around, you can see open woods, not much understory, and very few vines. So this is good shooting opportunity for archery stuff. The only problem is there's still all kinds of leaves on the trees. And my road is right back behind me. And the first thing I'll do when I get up is take my rangefinder and shoot some of these trees so I know exactly how far it is. It's about 3:30 now, and we're at our mid-afternoon doldrums, I guess. And we have been here and ready to go for a few hours, and really not seeing anything out there. And here we are, of course, up in tree stand. We have everything ready to go. And incidentally, that sheet there is my drop figures for the crossbow and arrow. So I have them there at ready reference. And a hoist rope that, of course, you can see. The sled that actually drags the crossbow string up and down. And, well, that's about it, really. I'd like to see something walk in the view, but nothing's come yet. Right about the center of the video is a pine cone, and that's at approximately 20 yards. And so I'm going to take one of my blunt points and see how close I can get to that pine cone. It's about 4:15 now, and by the time I get home, it's going to be 5 o'clock. Hound dogs are going to get ready to be fed. If you're not as nimble as you once were, one handy thing to do is to use a strap and wrap it around the tree when you dismount from the stand. I have to climb over that bar, and having something against the tree is really a help. My arrow is completely buried in the ground, somewhere in this area. And there it is. And yes, I was aiming at one of these little mossy tussocks, and that's about exactly where it hit. And it was right in line with that little tree there. So that's one way I was able to keep up with where it was. This is my rainy day and stormy weather blind. And we're supposed to have some weather coming in, like day after tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms. So I'll probably hunt elsewhere tomorrow and then stash my stuff in that blind for the next day.